Welcome everybody to this regularly scheduled board meeting of the South Tahoe PUD. Would you all please join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks everyone for coming. Do we have any comments from the audience? We have some. Yeah, well, I never know who's out there on the phone line. So nobody's in here.
I had heard that one person was going to call that Randy Llewellyn, but
I haven't heard from anybody. I'm not aware of anybody planning to call in other than the regular audience.
he's probably busy.
Okay. So we don't have any of those comments. So how about the agenda or consent calendar? So anybody got any corrections to that? Okay, hold on, motion.
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Director Cephalou?
Yes.
President Vogelsang?
Yes.
Director Sheehan?
Yes.
Director Exline?
Yes.
Director Wallace?
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes unanimous.
Great. Which brings us right on through to item 6A, which is probably why Chris is in the audience. We're talking about some 700 horsepower pumps.
I haven't heard enough time in front of you, let alone on the phone. Good afternoon. Luther Pass Pump Station. This is a station that exports all of our treated effluent. And in the station, it consists of two 1,000 horse pumps and two 700 horse pumps. And on a normal operating day, the 700 horse pump is in operation just about every day. And the firm capacity of the pump station is 1,000 horse pump and two 700 horse pumps pumping, which we have utilized on a few occasions here when we have a lot of it. In the past 5 years, we've replaced 1,000 horse pump and we rebuilt the other one. The two 700 horse pumps, talking with Jeremy, it's been 13 plus years since we've looked at rebuilding one of those. But in 2017 on pump one, on the pumps there's an inner bearing and an outer bearing on each pump. And we started having troubles on pump one, which is 700 horse, with bearing vibrations, and it basically came down to seem like the housing was just wore out for the bearings. So what we did is we turned it over to a company, and they used a Belzona type product, and basically it's like a JD weld, a liquid weld, metal that they put back into the housing to bring it back to factory specs. But unfortunately, we've had nothing but problems with it. It runs, it works. We try to use it as backup because we're still experiencing bearing vibrations on it. So we run pump two. Now pump two, in January of 2018, was last tested, and it was flowing at 1,312 gallons per minute. The approximately 480 gallons per minute less than its 1,740 gallon per minute rated capacity. Pump 2 has ran 4,163 hours to move 328 million gallons of water last year. Pump 2 is basically just worn out, and they've done an analysis here, and it's cost us an extra $36,000 to $45,000 more to move this water because pumping under its capacity. But by purchasing a new pump, we should be able to recover the costs for these two pumps in less than 15 years. So that is a plus also. In 2005, there was a condition assessment for the station.
Probably down there about 3:30 or so. Just to the left.
Hey Gary, you're on.
Star 6 to unmute. Star 6 to mute.
In 2005, there was a condition assessment done on the station, and replacing these last two pumps is going to basically be the last major upgrade at this point to bring the station up to modernized station. Everything else has been pretty much replaced. So what we've done is we went out to bid, and FlowServe is basically the only company that can produce a pump that will, like what we have. Other companies could not come up with something for our specs. And with FlowServe, what we're getting is 2 pumps that are identical to the ones we have. Now, those lasted 50+ years, so that to me is kind of a bonus, I'm thinking, because if they're half as good as the ones that we have now, I'm looking at 50 years for these pumps, I hope. Negotiating with them and talking with them over a period of time here, we've got them down to where we can get a pump at $280,080 each if we purchase 2. If you purchase 1, I guess it's a sizable difference as far as money. You're probably looking at $350,000, $400,000+ for 1 pump. So getting 2 pumps at this price, I think is a very good deal. The downfall to it is it's going to take about 10 months, give or take, to receive these pumps. And what we also want to have done is there's a performance test that the factory does, and that performance test is roughly $12,806 each, so $25,612 total. To do the test, make sure there's no vibrations, there's nothing wrong before we get it shipped over here, put it in and find there's something wrong with it. And then we estimated the tax, and the shipping estimated, I talked to the gentleman over at FlowServe, and he's looking roughly around $16,000 to ship for both of them. What it boils down to is, these pumps are like anything else, like a car, anything else. When you rebuild it so many times, after a while, just taking it in to have it rebuilt for $100,000 and having to do that every so often, after a while, it doesn't work anymore. You still have problems like what you see on pump 1 after we had the bearing housings brought back up to factory specs. So this is where we're at so far. Is there any questions or anything I could answer?
It's custom built.
Is
that why 2 is cheaper?
Sounds like it's essentially they are.
Yes, they're going to have to make molds, I understand, in order to produce these pumps that are exactly what we have.
So you kind of answered my question, and I don't think there really is an answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Please.
Estimated life, right? The last one's lasted 50 years. We know there's 2 things. They don't build them like they used to, and
Yes.
and the other one is thank God. So, what do you think?
What I'm thinking is, if they build the casings, well, pump 4 is a brand new pump, and it's identical to what we had before. And I'm hoping, and what I'm looking at, these casings are bulletproof. They have to use a metal. They're going to be pretty much fabricated the same as what we have now, with pretty much similar parts of what we're using now. And I'm pretty confident we should be pretty good as far as the maybe 50 years out of them. I mean, it's hard to sit here.
I mean, they do a lot of work.
Yes, they do. They're running every day.
Every day.
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a couple questions. And just as a layman's question, so forgive me, wouldn't it make more sense to buy a couple of thousand pumps, because even though they use more energy, they wouldn't work as hard and they pump more in an emergency?
The energy consumption between, and I don't know if Julie's on the line, Steve are on the line, they've done more analysis than I have, but the energy consumption between 1,000 and the 700 the 1,000 is much, much higher.
It's exponential.
And
Even if run at a lower rate.
Yes,
Yes.
and so as Chris said, the firm capacity of the station is when the firm capacity is what we use in engineering speak when we're modeling and looking at pump stations, and the what that really means is if you take the largest unit out of service, what's your pumping capacity for that station, right? And so we have 2 700s and 2 1000s. You pull one of those 1000s out of the mix, and then you run these 2 700s and a 1000 to pump over the mountain into Luther Pass. If we ran, and to my knowledge, I think we test run the 2000s and 1 700, but I don't think we've ever actually run 2000s and 2 700s. I don't know that we have the piping capacity to be able to take that load from the pump station. So increasing our ability to pump out there, I don't think it necessarily be, as far as putting a larger pump in, and the motors are sized for the pump. So if we replace the 1,000 horsepower pumps, well, we've got 700s with 1,000, we have to replace the motors as well that we just bought a couple of years ago.
Okay, Mike, thank you for your answer. I actually think I understood.
Probably more than you wanted to know.
No, I appreciate it. I remember 2005 when we had the 1,000 that was down. We were worried how long it was going to take.
Yeah.
Because that was a heavy winter, if I remember right. And that was my question about when we have the ERB full and there's more snow coming in, how are we going to get that up over the hill because our tanks, are holding, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But we also usually pump at night, and so we can pump 24 hours. So my second question is, since we know there are certain parts that are most likely to wear out, bearings, things like that, wouldn't it make sense to, at this point, buy some parts that might sit there for 10, 15 years, but sure come in handy if one of those or both of them went down?
We've done that in the past, and I believe it was pump 3, I believe it was, pump 4. It's a new casing, but we had an old element sitting over at Clement, I believe it was. And the element consists of some bearings, the shaft, the impellers, all that. And we used that because I think that was our last one.
Yeah.
But what we also are looking at is, if we are able to purchase 2 new pumps, we would like to take the 2 old pumps, and between the parts of both of those pumps, maybe combine and make one good one. In other words, if one pump goes down, we'll have a complete pump to stick in while we evaluate what is needed. As far as having extra parts and stuff too, yes, we would like to take a look at that here in the future. A rotating element, just off the top of my head, don't quote me exactly, but I think it's around 80 to 90,000 roughly.
I get the deal, but
But with the lead time that we have on these things, you're absolutely correct. It is wise to have something on the shelf.
Yeah.
I remember the 1,000-gallon one. I remember the concern, but it worked out. That's all I remember generally. We were concerned about it.
We normally had shafts and complete setups for parts that we could throw in right away. And then also by getting this type of pump, we don't have to change the concrete bases. We don't have to change the bolt patterns for bolting these things in or the piping. So in other words, a pump goes down, you may only be looking at, I don't know, off the top of my head, 2 days to get that, another one in and up and running. Or if you had to go in and redo piping and all that, you're talking roughly 600 pounds of pressure on these pipes. So it's not a matter of just going in, throwing in a couple couplings and redoing the pipe.
Yeah, I also understand that there's probably going to be some work done to make the tanks more transferable,
Yes.
the water between them. I thought that was already the case, and I was surprised that it wasn't.
We're working on some of that now, replacing valves, adding valves up there. We had one valve that wasn't working, and we're working on that now as we speak, actually.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for answering all those.
Kind of interesting, they charge that much money to test their own pump.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you that because it seems like they should be doing that.
I mean, that's kind of like, I would think would come with the pump.
Yeah.
Right? You're really gonna ship a product, you haven't tested, you don't know if it's reliable.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's one of the things that comes from this is we get 2 pieces of data, right? One is the efficiency, and the other is the.
No, I think it's great, I think we should have to test it, so
Yeah.
we baseline,
Yeah.
right? So we can test it in the future, but
Yeah.
why the heck don't they test their own pumps before they send them out without charging the customer?
That's
Like
what
buying a
I'm
car and having to go pay $1,000 to make sure it works good. before you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
insure it.
exactly.
Well,
Well, it's never been started.
Yeah.
You know, they were-
let's bust their chops on that one. Maybe they'll include it. I don't know. It seems like
It is a lot, but when you start looking at the price of just one pump, I mean, we had,
basically roll that in, that is part of the cost of the pump.
Yeah.
That's the way to look at it, it's just a cheesy way on their part, in my opinion.
And filter, unfortunately, is the only game. Again, when we
Right.
try to bid these things, we couldn't find somebody who would meet the spec other than filter.
And then what do we do if that company goes out of business? Usually there's a founder, and then they've got a kid that takes over for them, and then, okay.
I
Where are we
think,
gonna get
I
parts?
think FlowServe is about the third iteration of these guys, of the original manufacturers, and they have a huge portion of the market share, so it's more, our expectation is, this is kind of the big dog, one of the big dogs in the industry, they're gonna be here for a while. And the fact that they still have the designs for the molds to be able to fabricate these tells me that they've got their stockpile of information, and whoever the successor company is, there's money in that, and we have an expectation that they'll keep doing it.
And they get the same size impellers for tolerance and all that for what we use.
And I'm pretty confident that we could go to other pump places and they could redo the shaft, because we've had not only FlowServe, but it was Martech.
Yeah.
Martech has done some work for us, and at this point, it's my understanding that they should be able to reproduce, mainly in the whole pump, it's the shaft and the impeller and that kind of thing.
I see. Well, thank you.
Well, I think we covered that one pretty thoroughly. Unless anybody has anything else, I'll entertain a motion.
No more questions? Okay. Request, district staff is asking to ratify district staff negotiations with FlowServe for the purchase of two 700 horsepower pumps, since they can only be attained from one source, and as a result, further competitive bidding would not produce an advantage. And number two, authorize the district to purchase two 700 horsepower pumps, including factory performance, noise, and vibration tests for the Luton Pass pump station from FlowServe in the amount of $648,409.33. The purchase price includes estimated tax and shipping costs.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Director Cephalou?
Yes.
President Vogelsang?
Yes.
Director Sheehan?
Yes.
Director Exline?
Yes.
Director Wallace?
Yes.
That motion passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Which brings us to payment of claims.
I'll move approval of payment of claims in the amount of $1,838,681.16.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Director Cephalou?
Yes.
President Vogelsang?
Yes.
Director Sheehan?
Yes.
Director Exline?
Yes.
Director Wallace?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous.
Okay, do we have any standing and ad hoc committee reports? I'm not seeing a lot from the people seated here. How about you, Nick?
No, we had the ops committee meeting on Monday. A lot of really positive things. You know, as ops committees tend to be, they're kind of just keep kind of updating on the projects going forward. But so I don't know if Dwayne had anything to add with that, but you know, nothing on my end.
He's correct. We talked about projects that are going to be closed out and things like that. One thing we did talk about is looking into, I don't know if it's the correct committee for it, but looking into other ways to help with affordable housing. Is that correct, Nick?
Yeah, I think, you know, and I don't want to speak for you, Dwayne, but I think one of the goals, you know, I think Dwayne and I share is that we would love to see if we could come, you know, working with Gary with the public funds considerations, of course, to see what we could do to try to bring that kind of capital upfront cost for affordable housing to zero, looking to be the goal. And Dwayne's really outlined why that's important. You have all these units, get them online, get people paying in the system, don't get upfront capital costs for affordable housing, and see what we can do to get that working.
Okay, thanks, guys. How about board member reports?
I have nothing.
Once again, we got a nothing here. How about you, Nick?
I have one thing. I'm working with a group of folks on concert with the school district, local officials, and from October 5th to October 10th, I'm going to be partnering and being on a few of the events. There's having a local climate action week, and it's a lot of like things for kids, educational type things. Just trying to make something really positive, and in some level look for especially people with kids that are looking for some stuff at home, to give them some stuff to do. So really positive. I shared some of the information with Shelley, but just wanted to share with the rest of the board and anyone listening in.
No, it's,
Come on, Nick.
yeah, it's good. I think you just dropped out in the middle of that, didn't you?
Oh, did that just drop out?
Yeah, yeah. Have you been talking the whole time there?
Second half. Yeah, I know. I was talking, and the second half was so good. I got to tell you.
It was good for us, I'll tell you that.
Well, give us some listeners.
My wife says that all the time, Dwayne. I get it. No, it's an exciting climate week from October 5th to the 10th for the kids, for the community. Just a really positive thing we want to do right now, especially kind of with the gray skies.
Okay, great, thanks. El Dorado Water Agency Purveyor Report. Hey, didn't say the word county this time.
Even though it wasn't there. So there's actually the regularly scheduled meeting was canceled, and so we're having a special meeting tomorrow from 9:30 to 11:30, and of course it will be virtual. Yeah.
You want to send me the link? I want to
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
it.
Oh, good.
Because I got trips.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess that brings us to our GM report.
Okay, I have a few things today, starting with a staffing update. We are currently short 4 full-time crew positions, but that will be changing soon. We plan to fill 2 of these in the next couple of weeks. Both of those positions are heavy maintenance mechanic positions. We will be interviewing a total of 10 candidates, and 6 of those are internal candidates. After those are filled, we will look at refilling the other positions down the road and taking a closer look at workload and workflow as part of that process. Also, the board approved a temporary customer service employee to assist with the COVID assistance program, as well as provide, I think we really see it, providing extensive customer outreach and helping them set up payment plans, convert customers to paperless billings, auto pay, and show them how to pay monthly if they would like to. And so for that temporary position, we'll interview what looks like 5 really good candidates next Wednesday, and hopefully they'll be starting in early October. October already. And one more staffing update, big news in our HR department. As you know, Nancy has been out on medical leave since last December, and she has decided to retire at the end of this month, so effective September 30th. And Nancy, as our HR director for the past 28 years, of course, she's been an integral part of the district and the team that we have built for today. Actually, I was the second employee hired when Nancy started, just after Doug Van Gordon, so maybe she wants that one back. I'm not sure. We thank Nancy for 28 years of allegiance and really great service to the district, and wish her all the best in this next new phase of her life. And as you know, Liz has been serving as our interim HR director full-time since last December as well, and also earlier times during Nancy's previous absences. So I got to say, Liz has performed really in stellar fashion since then, since this last December especially, and has really shined during these COVID times. And so after talking to a lot of folks, all of our managers, union leaders, and others, and really with overwhelming support from all of them, I'm excited to announce that Liz will officially promote to the permanent HR director role effective today. So I think all of us are really so excited and ready to work with Liz in this elevated capacity, and really with so much optimism for our collective futures here, to build a better workplace for all of our staff and a more productive and purpose-driven work environment, really to the benefit of the district and our ratepayers. So it begins. Liz, congratulations, and I'm not sure if you're out there by chance, are you?
I am. Thank you, John. Can you hear me?
We can.
Very well.
Yeah.
Great job. Congratulations, Liz.
At the board level, I'd just like to echo what John said. We're all happy that you got the job. And you know, when you worked with us, when we were going through some personnel stuff, you were very easy to work with and helped us out quite a bit. And so I think you're going to be great in that spot.
I'll echo that.
Appreciate it.
Well, I certainly
Thank you.
agree. HIPAA keeps me from saying everything I want to say about it. But I certainly appreciate it. You gotta follow that.
Right, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great new era. Congrats, Liz.
Excited for this. Thank you.
Okay, I have a couple more things. Any more good news? I don't know. COVID-19 update? Actually, mostly good news, I think, on the pandemic front. Local cases are down, actually down to just 80 today throughout the entire county, and it's really been a constant decline from a peak of 216 back on July 23rd. So the active cases keep coming down, and the test positivity rates, they've continued to decline, actually below 2% today. And so kind of looking ahead, next Monday, we'll hear from El Dorado County about potentially, and I think based on the data, it looks very likely, we will move to the next phase of reopening in the county, which includes more easing of business restrictions. And then on Tuesday, we have our meeting set up with Barton, and we'll discuss the local outlook. And then next Friday, we will hear from the Lake Tahoe Unified School District about a potential change moving from that 100% virtual learning today to a hybrid plan, which includes, I believe it's 2 days in class per week. And so if they make that change, that will take effect October 12th. And again, I think from what we see today, it looks like that will happen as well. Now, back at the district, still no confirmed cases and none at all during this entire pandemic. We had 12 employees who stayed home as a precaution because they felt sick or they had a high-risk exposure from a friend or family member. All that were sick with something quickly got better, and all who were tested negative. And so all employees that went out as a precaution, all of them have returned to work. All great news, and I think it's really impossible to determine for sure, but I'd say that all that we've done here has helped us stay healthy at work and at home. So we will open the front office for business on Monday. And with all the mitigation measures, signage, floor markers, partitions, masks for staff and customers. Telework continues as recommended by Barton and others, though more of our office workers are returning to the office this month and next month. We have field crews working 12-hour shifts still, and we're looking at bringing them back to normal 10-hour shifts in the next month or two. And the customer assistance program is going well. We've made some improvements on the process, and more on that in Tim's upcoming staff report. And so lastly, the district is turning 70. September 25th will mark the district's platinum anniversary. 70 years serving South Lake Tahoe, our community, and protecting our environment. Shelley really will be preparing press releases. We'll be sending out notices to other local regional agencies and to our elected representatives. Shelley's putting together a little PowerPoint slideshow and a little history and hosting a district-wide conference call on the 30th for our staff. Have a little celebration and then bring all that into the board meeting for you on October 1st. So looking forward to that, 70 years old.
I wish Jim was here for that.
Yeah, totally. Huge part of that. You've been here a lot of those years as well. So you're here for the 50th, right?
Yep.
70 is the new 50th, Dwayne.
I'm hoping.
Randy, that's my.
But you can't disclose my age.
Oh, no. Still 40.
Okay, I think you are up, Tim. John just gave us a preview.
Just to kind of follow up on what John said, we continue to make improvements, to make it easier for the customer to log in and, apply for the rate relief program. We have done a few things. We've taken out, anything that looks like intimidating language, and get rid of that instead of making it like apply here, like you're having to fill out an application to get approved for. We just kind of make it like a simple sign-up form. Go with that. Probably here in the next few days, we're going to make a little bit bigger banner across the top of the web page saying,
You know, it's just right there at you when you open it up, and it'll say, you know, Break Relief Program, press here to apply. And we'll hopefully have that put in place here, like I say, in a day or two. Shelley is continuing to do press releases. She's got some more of those going out next week. But just to let you know, we do continue to receive some great feedback on this program from customers. I don't know how much it really has helped them during this difficult time. Just kind of give you an update on the numbers. Last board meeting, I reported that we had 125 applications. Today, as of just a few minutes ago, we now have 207 applications for a total amount of $80,200. 25 of those are from commercial accounts, which accounts for $56,800. Multifamily, we've had 24 of those accounts, which is about $10,000. And single family, we've had 158 accounts, which total around $13,300. So again, we continue to, we receive positive feedback. We are going to, make this one of the highlights in our billing when it goes out in October, since this program is going to end October the 30th, I believe, the 31st. And of course, we'll come back to you before then if you want to extend it out for another period of time.
That's probably where we'll see the bump in numbers.
I think we'll see another bump in numbers at that time. Absolutely. So a lot of this is getting out on word of mouth, from what we can tell. So
The Shelley's PR stuff and all that is getting in.
yeah, absolutely. So, any questions?
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Making it easier and clearer, I think is good.
Yeah, there's always room for improvement, and as we hear about it, we jump on it and make it easier for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we get to find out what's going on at the college construction site.
Yeah. Friday, August 21st, I received a call from the water crew, and they were out here at the college, and they're building a new building. I believe it's a child development center type building over there. And right now it's just the foundation with the pipes and everything's taken up. And they needed a 6-inch tap and a 2-inch tap. So they had it all dug up, and the water crew went out there, and they tapped a 6-inch, and it went fine. But when they scooted over and tapped the 2-inch, the 12-inch main split for about 3 feet in between the two taps. And 12-inch main with about a 3-foot crack is a lot of water. And to be honest with you, it took us a while to get it turned off. That pipe was installed in 1989, and it's throughout the pipe path and over in the dirt and stuff. And it appears that over the years, one, it was either the stand pipes for the valve were either installed crooked or wrong, or over all these years, since 1989, a lot of years, they settled and they copped over on us. So it took us a little while to shut it down, which resulted in water running the whole time. So it basically flooded out their foundation, filled it up pretty good. And then it ran down, and there's a garden down there that everybody goes and looks at. And then it didn't make it to the river, but it did go down close to it. So the one bad part was one of my guys hurt his shoulder and hurt his knee when it exploded. He was over on the tap, and when it exploded, he's doing good now, but it did hurt him, and that's a major concern for us. I've been working with the insurance company. We turned it over to them. We met out there last week, I believe it was, to go over some of the stuff. And then last week, Shannon and I also had a meeting with a gentleman by the name of Al, as one of the head guys over there at the college. Real nice guy, wants to work with us. He knows that we're neighbors. But all said and done, they had a wedding planned the next day, that Saturday, around that garden area. So him and the contractor that was out there, they did most of the cleanup for us, and got it all cleaned up before the wedding, and they were able to have their wedding. But talking to him, and I do not have the invoice at this time. We were just going by what he was telling us over the phone. But with all their time, all the engineers to come out and reassess the foundation, see if there's any damage, that type of thing. We're looking at a bill, at that time when he quoted us was $68,966. Yes.
I would have liked to see the extent of that damage.
Well, a lot of it was cleanup and just flushing out pipes in the foundation, the cleanup over the hill there, because there was a lot of water. And then when you're talking contractors on
You're going to
hold,
submit that to the insurance company anyway, right?
I'm sorry?
You're going to submit that bill to the insurance company.
Oh, yeah, no, I've been working with them. We met out there the other day with them, and at one point, Al was talking that there was roughly $14,000 extra that they were not going to charge us. They were just going to eat.
Which was, yeah, their staff time,
Yes.
the college's staff time that he controlled to do the cleanup and do that work on their overtime.
Yes. The bill is a lot, but you got to remember too, all of it's prevailing wage. So you have structural engineers out there.
Prevailing wage on a structural engineer, by the way.
I would imagine.
Just kind of wondering, just kind of curious.
Yeah, it's the labor. You don't get
Just
it.
curious. See where I fit in.
What are you making today? Somewhere around there.
Today about 10 cents an hour.
That's what
The pipe that we did find in there is an AWWA pipe. They call it final iron pipe. And to tell you the truth, I think I've seen it once before out of all my years here. So I'm not really familiar with it. I can't tell you it's brittle. And, you know, are there things that we could have done different? Yes.
So how much of this are you going to have to replace? Just the 30 feet between the two taps, or are you going to have to replace?
3 feet.
3 feet.
And we did that Friday night.
Okay, so and you think the rest of it's fine?
At this point, yes. But we're gonna, what's happened in the past was JM pipe. You guys are all familiar with the lawsuits and the brittle pipe that we've dealt with. And years back when this all started, we told everybody, whenever you see JM pipe, turn off the main, or at least pinch it down to where you're not completely off, but the pressure's off. Well, that got embedded in everybody's head. If you see JM pipe, do it. I changed that. Since that accident, one of my guys got his shoulder and knee hurt. What we're going to try to practice from here on out is any C900 main that we can pinch down with affecting businesses or something like that. I want that to start being a common practice. I think Shannon and I talked about it. We both agree. You know, like I said, there's things that we could have done better. There's always, when you always go back and you look and you think, hey, we could have done this, we could have done that. But it did split, it did flood out. So, any other questions or anything?
Stuff happens.
That's right.
Yes, and just luckily nobody got seriously hurt. Thank you.
Chris, real quick, do you mind repeating the amount? I'm sorry, I didn't quite get it. For the
They quoted us, I don't have the invoice, but they quoted us $68,966. And then with their staff time and stuff, they said that they were not going to charge us roughly $14,000.
Thank you.
If I can just add that the college was incredibly complimentary of Chris and his staff, their reaction, the work that they did out there to mobilize and get this thing resolved. And even though there was a delay in getting to the valves and getting them closed, et cetera, they were very complimentary of Chris and his staff.
Okay. If nobody has anything else, we've got a couple of closed session items to take care of, so at this time, let's move out of open session into closed session. Coming out of closed session into open session, nothing to report, meeting adjourned. So did I beat at least 50